Hey guys, before I begin, just want to say I'll be streaming every Tuesday and Thursday at 7 p.m. GMT, so do join me to chat and have fun, and I'll be more than happy to talk about almost anything, doesn't really have to be games related. And yeah, most importantly, do remember to like and subscribe if you like my contents. Hey guys, what's up? So today will be episode 6 of the Zero to Hero, and this will be the final episode. Okay, so in this episode, I will go through how the build feels, the requirements to transit, costs that can be reduced, and many more other contents, okay? And of course, last but not least, at the end, I will showcase some of my gameplays of bossing with this high budget build. The damage is really ridiculous, it's very fast, and I think it's quite uncomparable to other builds. Okay, so just a quick overview of the build stats. When mapping, I'm not taking into consideration of the 3 flasks, which is Cinder Swallow, Dying Stun, and Bottle Fate, because you're not gonna constantly use this all the time, right? So I remove these 3 flasks, and we have about 34 million DPS. Okay, this is for mapping. Okay, it's really very high. You can almost obliterate or kill anything. Okay, and when bossing, I took into consideration of all flasks active, and this is also in condition of fighting like the Shaper or the Guardians or Sirus. Okay, this is with the damage reduction with all flasks active. You can see we have about 44 million DPS. Okay, this is just the estimate, like this is the full-fledged DPS. Okay, if you want to reduce the cost of some of your items, then the damage will be lesser, but I can tell you it is more than enough. Okay, it is a lot more than enough. Okay, so how much does this build cost? It is about 120x. Okay, so 120x is without awakened GMP, and it's like I mentioned, it's more than enough to kill everything in the game. My own build that I currently have costs about 80x because I reduced the mods of certain items. I feel that I do not want to spend so much, but hey, I still have the damage to down everything in the game, like including the fear. Okay, yeah. Okay, so a breakdown will be the equipment cost about 85x. Skill gems is about 74x if you really want the awakened GMP, and without the awakened GMP is 36x. You can see the difference is really crazy. It's about 38x just for an awakened GMP. Yeah, that's how expensive it is. So I just feel that it's not worth it. Okay, I'll mention this in a while later. And okay, the perks of this build: it can do no leech maps, it can do no regen maps, and it can complete the fear easily. I've done it in like just mere seconds. And you can also help to carry other player bosses. Okay, there are a lot of other builds, but I just want to emphasize this because honestly, this is the first time I've actually done a build, right, that can do no leech and no regen. Yeah, it's quite crazy. It is really quite crazy. Okay, so probably you can't do both, but you can do either one of them, right? So if you have a map mod that has no leech plus no regen, you might probably just want to use mana flask, right? Okay, so in short, you can just do everything and anything except elemental reflect maps or mods. Okay, so stuff like Aziri race cost or your map mods that have elemental reflect damage, I'm sorry, this one can't be helped. Even if you have the Pantheon, you also cannot do it unless you really want to take the passive tree for the elemental passive that has 60% reduce reflect elemental damage. Okay, unless you want to go to that extent, then yes, you can do elemental reflect. Okay, going through a quick one of the POB. This is how the build looks like at level 95. Okay, so I have a level 90, level 95, which has more ES. Okay, so sorry, at level 90 you see we only have 55% increased ES, and we have about 4.2 ES. Okay, this is just estimate. Okay, it varies and depends on your equipments as well. So at level 95 we have about 100% increased ES, that's double, which will bring us to 4,900. And if you really want to go, or you want to extend your level to level 100, we will have about 500 5100 ES, and the additional perks will actually be over here. So one is the Charge Mastery for a little bit more damage, and second is evasion rating while you have energy shield, so you'll have a lot more evasion, even though I think honestly it's quite useless. And the good stuff will be actually Ghost Dance. Ghost Dance gives you ES, like instant recovery of ES when you get hit, equal to 3% of your evasion rating. So let's say your evasion is 10,000, right? Okay, I'm gonna bring up the calculator, give me a minute. Let's just say if I have 10,000 ES, okay, 3% is about 300. So every time you get hit, you're gonna have about 300 ES. That's like as good as your effective life. Alright, because if you're gonna get hit constantly or multiple times, you might die, and 3 hits will mean about 900 ES. That's honestly quite a lot. Okay, so that's about it. I think 95 is the ideal one, and I also have the skill tree for those of you that wants to play with the ES Light Radius. So the ES Light Radius is this. Light Radius is based on energy shield instead of life, because if you don't have this and you go into a dark map, it will be like completely pitch black. Okay, so I know that some of you don't really like that feeling. For me, I am very comfortable with it. I'll just follow that mini map and just run along, but some of you might want to see things. So I have another 3 more skill tree with the ES Light Radius. Okay, on to the skill tree. I'll just go through a quick one. The 6th link will be your COC Ice Spear. I think it's very, very normal. So Cyclone, Awaken, cast on crit. And for the Ice Spear, right, I know a lot of people would like to go for the Anomalous because they can just pierce 2 additional targets, right? But for me, I feel that Anomalous is really not super awesome requirement. So I would suggest to go for a 2120 Ice Spear for more damage, or of course if you can go for a Diversion, because you're already going to kill everything that's in front of you. So I don't see a need to pierce 2 additional target. Like even enemies or monsters from far away are just going to die, and you're running or walking so fast that you're just going to spread all the Ice Spear as you Cyclone in. So I just feel that Anomalous is more like a very overrated skill gem in my own opinion, okay? And yes, the 4th one will be Awaken GMP. Like I said, the price is really, really ridiculous, okay? So you can always change to a GMP with level 21 and 20% quality. Yes, your damage will reduce, but honestly, in my own opinion, it's not worth it to buy the Awaken GMP. Alright? And the rest is the usual Inspiration, Diversion for crit, Awaken added cold damage. And on our cosplay trigger, we're gonna put Frost Bomb, Ice Nova, and Summon Ice Golem. Okay, so some of you might ask me, why Ice Nova? We are already going projectile, right? So the reason is very simple, because I want a 360 degrees clear that is around me. Sometimes, like the low budget version, sometimes there will be mobs that might come from my side or behind me, and I do not clear them. And if you're gonna take Creeping Frost or let's just say, what's the other skill? Freezing Pulse. Okay, if you're gonna take either one of these two, it does not clear on your sides or behind, right? It's still gonna shoot in front. So I don't see what's the point of putting another one. So I opt to go for Ice Nova, which has the AoE clear around me, like those small little mobs that I will need to clear around them. So when you're fighting some other bosses, let's just say Phoenix, okay, so Phoenix Guardian, for example, on certain occasions they will spawn the mini Phoenix or something like that, right, the monsters. So when you spin around them, the Ice Nova is going to help you clear those small little annoying monsters that can deal quite a lot of damage, right? So Ice Nova does the job better at clearing AoE rather than Freezing Pulse or Creeping Frost. Alright, and Summon Ice Golem, please bear in mind it has to be anomalous. Okay, it does not has to be, but it's good to have, right? So 2020 will be enough. I'm not asking you to get a level 21 one. For Auras, we're gonna run Hatred, Zealotry, and Valgrace in Prism Guardian. Some of you might be wondering why Grace, why not Determination? Because Determination is so good now. The reason is stats problem, right? We do not have enough strength. Unless your equipment is just godlike perfect, you can change this to Determination. Okay, it's no problem. But due to some stats condition, I choose to run Grace instead. Alright. And the second aura will be your Precision, Herald of Ice, and Discipline. I think this is very normal. Okay, so you don't really need a level 21 Precision. If you want, you can get a Divergent one for more damage. And the Frostblink, you can also just get the default one. Divergent is just extra benefit or perks. Right, so this is our usual Vortex, Awaken Hex Touch, and Frostbite. I actually equip Arcane Surge level 1 on here. The reason is because Arcane Surge technically just grants you 10% more spell damage, right? Globally around you. And after spending 15 mana. So Vortex, right? Okay, I'm just going to show you. Vortex costs 3 mana. Okay, this is with the Cinder Swallow Flask. So without the Cinder Swallow, it's about 10 mana. So every 2 times you cast Vortex, you're going to activate Arcane Surge without Cinder Swallow, okay? So if the Cinder Swallow about every 5 times, okay, you're not going to cast it very often if you activate the Flask. But the whole purpose is just when you're activating the Flask, you just want to burst down the boss as fast as you can, right? So that is why this is only maintained at level 1. And why there is no Bone Chill, which is the more common support over here. The reason is I have attached Bone Chill over to Skiller Bots. Right? Okay, so Bone Chill to Skiller Bots, and that is why I can put Arcane Surge over here, because Arcane Surge doesn't support Skiller Bots. And the last one will be the 2-line cast when damage taken and Immortal Core, level 1 and level 3. I think this is a very basic CWDT setup. Otherwise, if you really don't want this, you can just put a cast on death and portal, right, for convenience sake. But I would still recommend this because there will be situations where you still take excessive damage, and this thing is gonna save you a lot of time. Okay, moving on to the items. I'm not going to go through one by one. It's already in the POB, so you can just go in and see it for yourself. Remember, I have a Google Sheet for you guys to reference, and all the trade links are here. Also, I've added a new column, column H, to show what are the items that you can transit into from the low budget to the medium budget version, right? So take note of the notes 1 and 2. They are basically notes that can help you to reduce your cost if you find that it's too expensive, right? And some other alternatives that you might want to change if you feel you are unable to find the item. Also, please take note for the for the helmet and your boots, right? You gotta use the Awakener's Orb. So just follow my steps really carefully, okay? I am going to show you one example right now. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys how you can self-craft the boots. First of all, you need to get a Hunter boots with Tailwind. You have Tailwind if you dealt a critical strike recently, and you must only have this modifier. And the other boots need to have the increased cooldown recovery rate. Okay, so this is either the Crusader or the Shaper boots, and same like the other one, you only need to have one of the influence modifiers. You cannot have more than that, okay? Okay, so next what you're gonna do is you're gonna right click the Awakener's Orb, and then you're gonna click the base that you do not want, okay? So we want to have the Sorcerer boots as the base, so we're gonna click this first, left click on this, and then the last item will be the base that you want. So you left click on the Sorcerer boots, and there you go, you have combined it already. So there you can see I have Tailwind and I have increased cooldown recovery rate. Okay, so the next section I'm going to talk about is transiting from the low budget to a medium budget build. So this is not something that I have done quite often, but I feel that too many people is asking me and they don't know what is required to transfer over or transit over. Okay, so yes, what is the requirement to transit from the low budget version. Like I mentioned, I've listed down in my Google sheet in the list on column H. So take a look at that. And first of all, it's Replica's Conqueror efficiency. Okay, this is for lesser mana cost. You're gonna reduce -9 mana cost for non-challenging skills. And second is your Militant Faith. Okay, Militant Faith is because you will need the power charge spell damage. Okay, so this is for additional damage, but what you are really looking for here is the elemental resistance per devotion, right? It actually, all this small little elemental resistance adds up to maximize your resistance cap at 75%. Okay, third is Unnatural Instinct. This is for accuracy. Okay, not only does it give you accuracy, if you can see over here, whatever that's in the circle, right, it gives you attack speed as well. It gives you global accuracy. It gives you movement speed, right, and it gives you lives, right. So with all this, right, it works together in one whole place. I should call it place. And not only that, it also gives you dex, right. So if you see, right, if I'm going to take this out, let's just say I'm going to take this out, okay, you can see that I'm short of dex right away. See? And then if I put it in, I will have enough dex. Got that? Yeah, so it's actually very important. Okay, so next will be Watcher's Eye. You need the Watcher's Eye for the base crit chance, right? The additional 1.7 or 1.8 base crit chance from the Watcher's Eye is going to help you boost to nearly 100% crit chance. And fifth, your cold damage cluster, the large cluster jewel, is for the elemental resistance and elemental damage, mainly for your resistance because of Prismatic Heart. It gives you I can't remember how much it gives you, I'm sorry. Yeah, it gives you 10% to elemental resistance, right? So Blanket Stone is just a bonus. You can don't have it. What we're really looking for here is Prismatic Heart. Alright, and the next one is Cosmic Malaise. Of course, you need it for to trigger all your cold spell, right? Everything like your Frost Bomb, Ice Nova, and Summon Spell Golem. Yeah, Summon Ice Golem, sorry. Prism Guardian to go low life with auras. That's a no-brainer. Chevron's Wrapping is to prevent chaos damage to bypass your ES, because we will be going ES onwards from this build, right? And then number 9 will be Presence of Chayula. It gives you stun immunity and a lot of ES. So honestly, this is not really important, but I feel that it's just vital. Okay, it's important because the stun immunity and ES is quite a lot, right? So let's just say if I were to remove, where's my Chayula here, right? If I were to remove Chayula, right? Okay, you can see the ES actually drops a lot. Look, it's about 1000 ES. Yeah, that's really a lot. It's quite uncomparable. So yeah, I'm just gonna include this in. And the last one, right, is ES on all your other items, because we are not going to go live based anymore. So stuff like your helmet, gloves, boots, rings, you can just find ES on them temporary, like buy the cheaper ones. Probably just ES and resistance. Like otherwise we're gonna have very, very low ES, maybe 2 or 3k plus, and we're not gonna survive, okay? So ES on all your other items. And all in all, right, you will need about 24 exalt to transit into the medium budget ES version of COC, right? 24 is the minimum requirement. After you have transit, it will be much easier to farm, right? It's going to be a lot easier. Not only you have damage increment, but you'll have a lot more survivability as well. Okay, so some of the items that can reduce your cost price. I know some of you might have a lower budget. You don't want to spend so much. You don't want to farm so much. And these are the key or core items that you can reduce, right? So first of all is your Watcher's Eye. You can buy with only critical strike chance while affected by hatred mod. For mine, I have bought it together with the Zealot 3 additional damage to enemies. Of course, there's a lot of other mods that added damage, but if you just buy this mod itself, the one that has crit strike chance, is about 3 exhausts only. Otherwise, it'll be about 8 to 10 exhausts. Okay, so the next one will be cold damage large cluster jewel. Remember, you can always get the blast freeze passive instead of the blanketed snow passive. Okay, the difference is quite a lot. I think I can't remember the price, but I think it's about 3 to 5 exhaust difference. Yeah, it's a lot of difference. It's really a lot of difference, but it is not needed. Even I myself, I'm using the blast freeze passive and I'm doing perfectly fine. Right, so the third one will be the projectile medium cluster jewel. And this is if you have enough decks elsewhere. Elsewhere, I mean like maybe your boots, gloves, your rings. If you have another line of high decks, and you don't need decks on your medium cluster jewels already, you can always buy one without dex passive. Right, so the one without dex passive will probably cost about 60 chaos. And then the one with dex passive can really vary because you will need these 3 specific modifiers, which is one is your dex, of course your passive that grants dex, and then the other 2 will be eye to eye repeater. So it's actually quite hard to find the exact same, as in the exact 3 line of it, and it can vary. So my first one costs about 100 chaos. And my second one costs about 150 chaos. So average about 120 chaos or 125 around there. Yeah, you can see the difference is about double, right? So yes, if you manage to have a deck somewhere else, you can get one without decks. Okay, fourth will be your cobalt base jewel. You can always buy a 2-line crit multiplier instead of 3-line. The difference is really, really huge, okay? So as in the price difference, right? So the 3-line is about 900 C and the 2-line can cost about 15 to 20 C. So I mean, you can always use the 2-line crit multiplier first and then decide later if you want to have an upgrade in your damage. Okay, so for myself now, I am using the 2-line crit multiplier, not the 3-line. Right, the damage difference is huge, but I'm still almost one-shotting every single thing. Okay, fifth will be your bottle faith. Okay, now this flask is really, really very expensive. It gives you a lot of damage difference. On top of that, it gives you consecrated ground plus crit chance, and additional damage will be taken by monsters or creeps. So this is very expensive. Hold on, let me just check. I can't remember how much does this cost. Okay, 210. Wow, okay, this is quite expensive. About 14 exhausts. Okay, so this thing is about 14 exhausts, and in the meantime, you can always use a sulfur flask first, right? So the only time you use bottle faith is when you are trying to burst down a boss, right? You don't really use it so often unless you are farming bosses extensively, like Guardians, Shaper, and whatsoever. Yes, otherwise I always tell my viewers this is the last thing you should always buy. Okay, 6. Like I mentioned before, Awakened GMP is just overrated. I don't even feel this is needed at all. It's not even worth the price. So 38 exhausts for like maybe about 1 million DPS increment. Guys, 38 exhausts, I can even build a new character with it. So I just don't feel it is worth it at all. It's almost like the same price as Awaken multi-strike, right? Yeah. Okay. Instead, use a level 21 and quality 20 GMP. Even I'm using this and I'm doing fine. Okay, last will be your skill gems. You can always use the default version of all your skill gems. The alternative quality is just additional perks for either more efficiency or more damage. But some of them, right, might be important, okay? Such as Anomalous Summon Ice Golem or Divergent Inspiration. So I'm going to show you now. Divergent Inspiration, right, is going to give you additional reduced mana cost. So Ice Spear is going to reduce a lot of cost on it. You can see it only costs 1 for Cyclone and it costs nothing. Okay, it costs nothing for Ice Spear. That is provided we are using the Cinder Swallow. If we are not using the Cinder Swallow, it costs 11. Okay, over here you can see it costs 11. So what happens if we don't use Divergent Inspiration? Okay, it's going to cost 17. That's 6 mana difference, right? It's going to be a huge difference because you might not be able to sustain your Ice Spear as in constantly unleashing your Ice Spear if you do not have Diversion, right? Might have mana issues. I did not really try, so I'm not sure. But highly recommend to at least get this to Diversion. Next will be your Anomalous Summon Golem. Because Anomalous has 20% increased buff effect, that's going to give us additional crit chance and additional accuracy. Accuracy is very important because it depends on your hit rate of your Cyclone, otherwise your Ice Spear will not even be able to unleash out. Okay, so yes, that's it for reducing costs. There are other stuff that you can reduce costs, small little stuff, but I'm not going to go through that. Some of them is really just common sense and logic. If you feel that you do not need it, you need to change, then by all means, man, just change whatever you need. This is just for reference. Okay, so my final thoughts on this build, right? The build DPS is crazy high, okay? I don't think even POB reflected the correct actual DPS I'm dealing with. On top of that, it takes quite a amount of effort to build it, like because there's a lot of rare items, specific items that you need to find so that you can maximize your DPS. But once you build it, right, once it's completed, it's really satisfying and worth it. Like, you will feel that you can clear everything in the game. More like you actually can clear everything in the game. Of course, other than elemental damage reflect, but you can always dodge that here and there. But yeah, you just clear everything super fast, super slick, super smooth. I don't think you can find this build like any smoother in other builds. Okay, I don't know what I'm talking. Let's get to the next one. Getting more ES might be better because sometimes I'm still dying too fast. Yeah, I don't really know exactly what hit me. Might be poison, might be chaos damage. But yes, sometimes I feel that having that slight little more ES might be a lot better. So currently I'm sitting at 5k ES. I think sitting at 6k might be better. You might not get one shot straight away sometimes. But yeah, definitely getting more ES is better if I can. Okay, and the next one is the most debatable questions every time I do a COC video or people come and ask me. Assassin, Occultist, which is better? Okay, so here are my final thoughts of it. I feel that Assassin is a lot better. Right, so first of all, it is easier to reach 100% crit chance. Crit chance has always been a problem in cast on crit because you have to reach 100% crit chance, okay, at almost every single time. I wouldn't say 100% crit chance, okay, maybe about 90 or 95% crit chance will be the ideal one, like without all your long cooldown flasks. So Assassin has the capability to do that much better than Occultist, okay? I am guaranteed that Assassin is way better in terms of crit chance. Not only because of his passive, but okay, so mainly it's because of his passive over here. Daily Infusion. So when you have maximum power charges, right, you have 1.5% crit strike chance. And on top of that, regardless whether you crit or not crit, Cyclone is going to spin and proc many times, right? So probably in like mere 1 to 2 seconds, you're probably going to get like maximum power charge already. That is really very fast, okay? I don't think Occultist has the capability to do that. Yes, it might have, but you will have to use the power charge on critical strike support on your cosplay, right? So that's the downside of it, okay? And the third reason will be Assassin just moves a lot faster. It clears a lot faster, right? And Elusive is awesome, man. With the changes to Elusive now, I can show you right here what does Elusive actually do. Here, you see that, what's that, brown white line? Okay, Elusive initially grants 50% chance to avoid all damage from heat, 30% increased movement speed. Okay, so this thing reduces the effect over time. But you gotta remember, on your passive, on your Ascendancy passive, right, there's a 10% increased elusive effect and there's a 50% increased elusive effect. So total you get 60%. And 60% of 30% movement speed is as good as about 45% movement speed. And then you have like 22% chance to dodge all damage from hits. Like, I mean any sort of hits, okay? AoE, single target, whatever, anything that's coming out from monsters, 22%. 22% is actually quite a lot. Yeah, so that is the perks of Assassin. Other than that, I think the good stuff about Occultist is it has double curse. Yeah, I mean, Occultist definitely has damage right there, but I feel all in all, right, crit chance is so important that you cannot leave out, and having a base crit chance is the most important, because that's what's get you going from the COC. Like, if you don't have a good base crit chance, you're gonna build up much slower. The thing is gonna build up so much slower that you have to snowball your whole entire map every time. You can't stop, right? Because the moment you stop, you lose your crit chance. You're gonna start all over again from building the crit, from the power charges, your flask and whatsoever. Okay, and Assassin doesn't have to do that. Okay, and the next one will be, I decided to drop Circle of Fear, even though it's awesome, because I needed the extra stats of resistance, the reduced and also plus the reduced mana to non-channeling skills, right? So if you do not know what is Circle of Fear, I don't have the picture, but I'll just show you here. So Circle of Fear is a synthesis ring. It basically grants you... Okay, wait. I think I need to change this to the buff effect and cold damage. Okay, so you can see that it has about 50% increased cold damage while affected by Herald of Ice, and Herald of Ice has 50% increased buff damage. Plus, it has cold resistance and cold damage and dex. Yeah, this is really, really good, but I feel because of the lack of resistance from the build, right, I will need to use another ring. And it doesn't have to be Opal ring, okay? So I just needed another ring that has dex and strength, right? And then another one that has resistance, because we are still lacking resistance regardless. So there is no way that I can get 2 resistance and 2 stats like the strength and dex all in one ring. That's why I decided to drop the Circle of Fear and then just go with 2 rings that have non-challenging skills, have -7 to their total mana cost, right? It felt so much better because you totally don't have to worry about mana, okay? That's the perks of it. And when compiling this build, getting sufficient dex is a problem, okay? The dex is always a problem. Like, if you were to see the requirement here, I need 213... Sorry, wrong. I need 212 dex. And 212 is because of cosplay. So how do you find this 212? It's just all over the place. You can see I have 30 on Prism Guardian, on Chayula, 54 on my ring, even with the Catalyst to increase dex. And then I have 1 on my Cobalt Jewel, and the rest is based off from my passive tree and Cluster Jewel. Right, I even have to take Alacrity for it. Otherwise, I don't have enough dex. Suck it up, no choice, man. Dex is a problem in this build. Yep. Okay, so that's it for my final thoughts.
Collect this ancient power for me. Resist my entropy. Just for me.
Force my hand again, little mouse. So, you've chosen to side with chaos. This is my world, and you shall obey my order.
He's trying to recover. Hurry! Let's find a way back.
With your death, this nightmare will finally end. I'm better.
Welcome! Time has no meaning here. Your pain will be ended. Distasteful! My only consolation is that
I've killed countless thousands. What's one more? Your sentence is death. I am the Lord.
Needs you.
I can't go off
Just need a moment to catch my breath.
What's this? A real challenge. You've finally caught my attention.
Your lives are meaningless! Fury of the cosmos!
The others found strength in their projections. They became reliant.
Your lives are meaningless! Creation itself! Glorious flames!
Life really interesting enough to warrant all this pain.
Beyond! This city is nothing! Fury of the cosmos! Pointless! Obliteration! Rain of stars!
I am.
Everlasting fire!
Feel the
Just need a moment to catch my breath.
you will long for
Everlasting fire!
Okay, if there's anything you would like to comment, feel free to write in the comment section below, or you can also hop over to my Discord channel hideout and let me know. It's basically a chat channel for casual players to mingle around or ask any questions. Okay guys, thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!